Good evening and welcome to another.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Ah?
Huh?
Anyway, welcome to another episode of Retro Review. Tonight, I don't know if we're going to be joined by others, but tonight we're going to talk about the Brat Pack. They were a big part of the 80s and growing up during that time. Big influence.
I thought maybe you wanted to talk about bleach blonde, bad bitch bodies.
And tomorrow, just as a note so I don't forget, we have no guest because the guest didn't contact me back. I've been trying, So I had somebody, I thought they were going to contact me back to confirm, but it wasn't confirmed. So there's no guest tomorrow night. But I've got a possible topics we can discuss later. So let's start out on June 13th, which is only a few weeks away. Hulu is going to be coming out with a Brat Pack documentary, and it's done by it looks like it's done by Andrew McCarthy. So I'm going to play that first, and then we'll get into discussing all the movies and stuff that they've done. And the people claim to add to the Brat Pack list, but there's only a select few that are on that list. We'll get into that too. So here we'll get to share the screen. And let me get that way. Okay, here we go.
If you were coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different. On June 10th, 1985, New York Magazine published Hollywood's Brat Pack. I just remember seeing that cover and thinking, oh. From then on, my career and the career of everyone who was involved was branded to the Brat Pack.
I'm really sorry that article had to come out.
I've never talked to anybody about what that was like. So I thought it might be interesting to try and contact everyone who was in the Brat Pack. Hey, Emilio Estevez. This is Andrew McCarthy calling. Hey, Allie. Hey, Demi. Hey, Molly. Let's call Rob. Hello, Judd. Hey, you around? You've been not interested in talking about the Brat Pack for years. I turned everything. How can you talk to me? Because you called me. It was time that we clear the air in a couple of things. I love your stuff. Hey, I hated the Brat Pack for decades. What a disaster. If you could have the Brat Pack name not exist, would you?
It really irritated me. They said, what's more important to you, the movie or your life? And I said, the movie, Andrew.
Have you talked to the others? The others, like, again, it feels like a cult or something. Yeah.
Why did we take it as opposed to like the brats? Because we were young.
We were afraid we were brats. Are you in the Brat Pack?
I'm Brat Packaging.
That's what I was thinking. I am not in the Brat Pack. I showed you back in the day.
You did not, Andrew. No, you did not.
Being the Brat Pack. Not only changed all of our lives, it changed what entertainment is. I mean, I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything. Well, we didn't sell Shea Stadium. We could have. 1985. I think we could have.
So what are you filming?
Oh, we're just doing this documentary. Ancient history.
Now,
like you have an issue.
Yeah, she's not shutting up because Tanya's eating. But, watching that, it sounds like a couple of them didn't like it when that article came out and called them the Brat Pack.
They didn't like him at all.
You know, but you got to realize, and this is only based on 2 movies. There was common characters in both movies, and it was John Hughes' Breakfast Club, and it was Joel Schumer, or whatever his name is, St. Elmo's Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So the original list consists of Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, and Marie Winham. Those are your original Brat Pack. Okay. Later on, they tried adding people like, and we saw him in there too, Timothy Hutton from Taps, Tom Cruise, Charlie Sheen, because of his relationship to Emilio Estevez, James Spader, Robert Downey Jr., and there was another one, John Cryer, John Cusack, Joan Cusack, Nicolas Cage, Kevin Bacon, Matthew Broderick. These are people, Mary Stuart Masterson, Sean Penn, Keith O'Sullivan, Leah Thompson. You know, the thing is, all of those, that's just like, taking it too far.
Honestly, little surprised that they didn't try to bring Leah Thompson in as part of the Brat Pack.
Yeah, I can see that one in a way, but and maybe I don't know, maybe because of John Cryer's role of Ducky in Pretty in Pink, because but I don't know. I think the original list, and sometimes that original list, they tend to not include that Marie Winham character, and she was a big part in that St. Elmo's Fire movie. She was a big part of that group, and it was all because of the article. Like they said, when it came out in '85, it included all those actors that I listed from those 2 movies, The Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire. No, the rest of them that they listed, well, they weren't in any of those movies. I mean, now that I got Hulu and I only did it, I can't even remember why I did it. I got it for something that had to do with Fear Fans, which is a Tuesday night thing. And I think it was because it was, get it free for 7 days, and then I decided not to cancel it. So I'm watching Smallville again and something else. Oh, X-Files. I'm watching X-Files. But I will watch that when it comes out, because it'll be interesting what they have to say. And I'd like to hear Emilio Estevez answer that question.
Yeah.
About
interview with him.
Yeah, that one question where he was asked about the Brat Pack, that title. It'd be interesting. But those actresses, those 2 movies really pole vaulted their careers, all of their careers. I mean, you could go through that list, and they all became very big stars. And as far as I know, they're all still working today. I mean, Emilio Estevez came out with all kinds of movies after that he was part of. I can't even think of that one where they did a spin-off of like Lethal Weapon, or made fun of those movies like Lethal Weapon. And
you talking about Hot Shots?
No, not the Hot Shots one. It's called Loaded Weapon. National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon. That had Emilio Estevez in it. You know, and Anthony Michael Hall. Well, he went on to do things such as Dead Zone. He played Bill Gates in a documentary about Bill Gates. You know, Weird Science. You know, I mean, he was in a lot of things over the years. And then he did, what was that one? He was also in 16 Candles, if I remember right, wasn't it? 16 Candles with Molly Ringwald. Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
So
he was the one. He was the one that got put inside the glass coffee table.
Yeah, and he went and got her underwear while they were sitting in a car in the auto mechanic shop.
No, there was no auto mechanic shop. That was the garage of the house they were at.
The party was at the school.
The party was at the house.
School. No, they were at the high school.
The party was at Jake's house.
Not the party. That was after the school dance.
You're talking about the prom or the school dance.
Right. And then he got her underwear. Anyway. And then you got Rob Lowe. He's done so much over the years. He's doing those Atkins commercials today. All of those shakes, but he was in that, he was in Wayne's World, the second one.
Mm-hmm. As the protagonist.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's still working. I mean, everybody recognizes who he is, and you see those Atkins commercials on TV nowadays. Andrew McCarthy went on to do things, Mannequin 1 and 2. Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You know, those are all great movies out of that era that these people appeared in, and we're not even halfway down this list. You know, Demi Moore's still working.
Mm-hmm.
G.I. Jane, Striptease. You know,
I'm pretty sure she wasn't too happy with the role that she did in Striptease.
I wouldn't.
If I remember right, she had a few things to say, but
probably had a few things to say about Burt Reynolds as well in that movie. But she, you know, she's done a lot over the years.
I know.
Married to Bruce Willis for a while.
And Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, that's right. She was married to Ashton Kutcher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about that one. And then we got, what's his name? Judd Nelson. And that guy was in The Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, so he was in both of those movies. But one of my favorites that he was in, he was playing a cop opposite, if I remember right, he was a cop, and his partner cop was Ice-T. And it was a movie called New Jack City. And then he was also in the Billionaires Boys Club.
There's also a movie that Judd Nelson, if I remember right, was in. A lot of people don't know about, but it's a really good movie. You want me to tell you?
The Transformers?
Nope.
Oh.
It's an older movie.
Yeah.
It's really good. A lot of people don't remember this movie.
Okay, what's the
It
movie?
is called Ghost Ship. See? You're like, what?
Yeah, well, I'm looking and I don't see it. I'm going down the list.
He should be on it. I'm pretty sure he was in it.
Nope.
That was Judd Nelson, right?
Yeah. And it goes all the way back to 1983 when he started. Actually, and then, and then he's got, and this is put in two categories and it's not there. There's TV and, nope. And movies, nope. It's not there. But the one thing I did notice, was that he was in Jay and Silent Bob's Strikes Back. He played the sheriff. I forgot all about that one. He was the sheriff. And then that goofy fucker, what's his name, was Animal Control in that movie. I can't even remember his name. But yeah, no, he wasn't in that one. But I know Ghost Ship. I remember that movie.
I swear he was in that one.
No.
Hang on a second. I gotta turn my fan on. It's getting warm in here.
No.
That's the one where you get all the people on deck and the captain and he's dancing with that little girl and the.
Yep, that was a great movie. Nope, that was not Judd Nelson in there. That was somebody else.
Carl Urban.
Then now we got next on that list is Miss Molly Ringwald, the hot little redhead from the Breakfast Club. Her first movie was called Tempest in 1982. And then she did 16 Candles before the Breakfast Club. Then she did Pretty in Pink. I'm just going through the ones.
Oh, you know what one I was thinking of? You know the other one I was thinking of? Lost Voyage.
No, he wasn't in that either.
Yes, he was. I'm looking at it right here.
How was he in that movie?
2001.
Well, let's throw him in there.
I'm looking at it right here.
What are you looking at?
I looked up Judd Nelson filmography and it shows right here. It says Breakfast Club, Girl in the Basement, St. Elmo's Fire, New Jack City, Cabin by the Lake, Dead Water, Airheads, From the Hip, The Dark Backyard, or Backward, Fandango, Lost Voyage, 2001, Blue City. And there's a lot of flipping movies. He was a voice in the Transformers 1986.
Yeah, see, I was just looking at Wikipedia. I gotta stop that for this because they even got him as a voice here as John Bender, which was his name on Breakfast Club. on Family Guy in 2007. And then he was also, yeah, I forgot about this because I'm a big fan of this one. Hi. Hey, hey, hey. Oh,
Hey, hey, hey.
that's from What's Happening. Am I right? It was like Dwayne or Rerun. Dwayne said that. I'm pretty sure it was Dwayne from What's Happening. That's my guess, Janet. But he was also in Las Vegas. I knew that. Yep, Dwayne. Hold on, you gotta mute.
Did you say she did Pretty in Pink before Breakfast Club? Or 16 Candles before Breakfast Club?
I forgot which, but like I said, I was looking at Wikipedia. I'm gonna switch that around.
Well, her filmography
Because
has her in 1984 for 16 Candles, 85 for Breakfast Club, and 1985 Tragedy, Surviving a Family in Crisis. And then 86 is Pretty in Pink. And The Pickup Artist.
wow, here we go. I knew it. I knew there was
Downey Jr. You remember Downey Jr. was in that, right?
I knew there was some things I was missing because she was an actress when she was a child, you know, a kid.
Yep.
And she played Molly Parker in two things because they were kind of spin-offs of each other. Different Strokes and The Facts of Life. She was on 14 episodes of Facts of Life. And if I'm not mistaken, it better say it somewhere because there's 16 Candles, then The Breakfast Club, 84 and 85, Pretty in Pink afterwards, Pickup Artist. Now what was that movie?
Kid.
I swear, and she's probably uncredited in that one, but I swear. Hey Google, when was Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
June 11th, 1986. According to Wikipedia, released by Paramount Pictures on June 11th, 1986, the film became the 10th highest grossing film of 1986 in the United States, grossing $70 million.
Google, stop. God damn thing. Annoying sometimes. Hi, Kate.
Hey, you're the one that asked the question.
Hi, Tom. Well, I swear she's got a small role and she was uncredited in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But she wasn't a redhead. She had dark hair. But when she talked for a second or said her lines there in the hallway, because she was talking to Ferris's sister. And I swear that's Molly Ringwald, but it doesn't show her on the IBM page. Because it doesn't give her, because she did Pretty in Pink in 86. Hey, I don't know, but it sure does look like and sound a lot like her. But she did a lot over the years too. Again, another Brat Pack that went off to stardom and is still working to this day. You know. And some of them I'm really interested now more and more about that documentary. That
And
Andy McCarthy.
Molly Ringwald was in Ferris Bueller,
How'd you find that out?
but she doesn't have any like accredited here. It's just Molly Ringwald. How did I find that out? Let's see. We go to Google. We go cast of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
So, well, I'm just saying, all you had to do, fucking smart ass, all you had to do was say you looked up the cast of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But it's not in her IBM thing either. Because she had a very small role. Right. It was a very small, tiny role.
Like this one girl here, Leanne Marie. She was on the float. One of the dancers on the German float. Louis Anderson was in that.
And Ferris Bueller. Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Ellen Rupp. Yeah, Mia Sara looks a lot different than she did back then.
Oh, excuse me.
Ben
I don't
Stein
know why
was in
Tom
that.
didn't join. Tom's got a link. He should have joined.
Charlie Sheen was in it.
Well, yeah.
See, it's stuff like this. It's the little connections like this that the reason that
I get it.
Trying to put more people into the Brat
Pack
Pack
than that should be, right? I mean, yeah, you're gonna see every time you see John Cryer, the first thing, because he kind of did that. He did such a role with Ducky. It's kind of haunting him. It follows him around, because when he did 2.5 Men, he dressed up as Ducky for Halloween or something.
Yeah, I know.
But then they've done the same thing with Ashton Kutcher after he joined it, and had this girl come up from the beach side on the house, and it happened to be what's her name, Jackie from that '70s show. Mila Kunis or whatever the hell her name
Mila
is.
Kunis.
The one he married.
Mila Kunis.
So I mean,
which doesn't make sense to me at all.
But John Cryer played that role so well, and you had in that movie, what was her name? Annie Potts was in that movie too with him. It was Molly Ringwald, Annie Potts, John Cryer. Anyway, yeah, when he played Ducky, it kind of stuck for a while.
Wow. Molly was born in 1968. February 18th.
So you're younger than me.
Huh?
You're younger than me.
Yeah. She was born February 18th, 68. So she's a few months older than I am. Interesting. Well, continue on.
Well, the next one on the list now is Ally Sheedy. And she's older than both of us. Born June 13th, 1962. And now she's known for a lot of movies. I realized how big her list is. I was sitting here looking at it, and she goes back to 1981 She was on, and I forgot about the. I don't know if I ever watched them though back then, but CBS Afternoon Playhouse. I think that was something like after school special.
Yeah.
And then she did some TV movies, like quite a few TV movies in 1981. Then a TV series in 82. She was on St. Elsewhere, one episode of St. Elsewhere. Three episodes of Hill Street Blues. Did a movie called Deadly Lessons, which was a TV movie. And then the very first movie, you know, the real movie, not made for TV movie that she did was with Sean Penn, and it was called Bad Boys. She played Sean Penn's girlfriend in that. And it also had the guy that played Richie Valens' brother in La Bamba, the movie La Bamba.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, she did Would You Like to Play a Game? She was in War Games.
Yeah, I know that. With Medford Broderick.
Oxford Blues, then The Breakfast Club, then Twice in a Lifetime, then St. Elmo's Fire. Then you go on to she was in the music video for St. Elmo's Fire as well. Then she did Blue City. Then she did another very popular movie during the time that had Johnny Five in it, Short Circuit.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the first Short Circuit. She did Made to Order. She did She's Having a Baby. She was in Short Circuit 2. Betsy's Wedding, Heart of Dixie, Fear. And then another one she did that I watched. This was a TV movie called The Lost Capone. And that was a really good movie. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Wow. She's got another one. Quite the fucking list, you know. And she's still working today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way I look at it, I think them being labeled the Brat Pack, and they say, well, I turned all these things down. Well, you know, you might have had more of a successful career if you didn't. You know, because they were probably turning those movies down that were a lot like the Breakfast Club and all these movies. But
Probably.
I can't wait to hear that documentary. I really can't, because I was a big fan of a lot of their films, you know. And then you had the one that gets left out the most from that list. Let's see, let me get over to her IBM page. Oh, she looks like she's a double threat. Okay. I mean, most of those other actors that were on that Breakfast Club list have also done a lot of producing, directing, and that kind of thing too behind the scenes, right? But Marie Windham, she's also a singer and songwriter, believe it or not. Well, let's see. Let's go down her list. I'm going all the way to the bottom and starting. So we got to go back to the 70s. Oh, she goes back to the 70s. 1976. but she was uncredited in all those. Those were all TV movies. Policewoman in 1978. Starsky and Hutch in 79. Wow. But then we get up to the 80s. There's not a lot there that I would know that a lot of people would know. Maybe, I don't know. Some of these look like TV movies. She was on an afternoon special, ABC After School Special. There it is. There's the After School Special in 85. Then she did St. Elmo's Fire. And see, that's when her thing, she was also in the music video. She was on the TV series Twilight Zone for an episode. But there was another movie. Oh, here it is. Turner and Hooch. That was a good movie. Turner and Hooch. That was with Tom Hanks, one of his movies.
Mm-hmm.
That was a dog I could never handle being around because of how much it drooled.
What's that one?
The dog from Turner and Hooch. Hooch. You know, he got the big jaws and all of that, and they drooled all over everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of dog it was. I don't remember. But she did a lot of TV afterwards. I mean, she did a lot of TV. She was like 6 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, CSI, Criminal Minds, Hatfield, all the mini TV series about the Hatfields and McCoys. She played the main woman on one of them, of one of the families. She played Sally McCoy. So she was the head of the McCoy, the head female of the McCoy family.
Yeah.
But she's the one that most people tend to leave off that Brat Pack list, which is sad because she was a big part of that Brat Pack. You know. But adding all those other people, no, I don't think it's, you know, if you were in one of those 2 movies that it said, you know, that the article, the original article that came out in that New York Timer or whatever, then yeah, okay. But, you know, in those 2 movies were The Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire. But I just, you know, some of those other actors that don't make sense. You know, I mean, there were some great movies out there. What were some of your favorites from those actors?
I don't know, really. I don't know if I really had any favorites. I liked them all pretty much.
Yeah, you still watch them today if they come on cable or something? Well, you don't have cable. That's a bad question.
I have cable. I get streaming, and I can go to the streaming services and look them up.
Yeah, and sometimes they just show up on the streaming services once in a while. You know. But that's all I had, and we still got time. So what do we
still got time?
Yeah, we still got lots of time. Oh. That's all I had.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I still enjoy watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I know that's not part of the Rat Pack.
But still,
16 Candles is a good
I
one.
mean, but still, that I got, you know, that song. You know, you hear it come on the radio, and
Don't you forget about me.
Yeah, immediately you think of Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
You know,
Which was, is, and
theme song.
Which is, and always will be one of the greatest movies ever made. And if Hollywood ever tries to remake it, they need to be whoever in Hollywood thinks that they've got the balls to try and remake The Breakfast Club, they need to have their balls removed and never be able to work in that fucking town again.
Because
there is no way in motherfucking hell that you can truly remake The Breakfast Club. And it's because, it is literally because The Breakfast Club, the genre, the time frame it is based in, everything ties together. You try to remake it today, you're not going to be able to, because of the fact that things are so different today compared to what they were back then.
Yeah, it
will be a complete and total flop.
Well, a lot of times when they make remake shit, sometimes it is a total flop because they can't even cast it right in the first fucking place.
It's not necessarily the casting, Joe. There are movies. Now listen though, and you know I'm right on this. There are movies of our generation that cannot be remade.
Well, yeah, that's
because of the movie itself, the way the movie was done, the fact that the movie ties in with that genre, that era.
Yeah.
You know, when a movie like that is a great movie of that nature, ties in with that era, and then you go 30, 40 years later and you try to make it again, to remake that, to bring back that spark, you cannot do it the same way.
You know, that's like, you know, when those movies fit in just perfectly for that time frame when they were released.
Yes.
And you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, another example of that. It can't be remade. But I swear I saw a post the other day and I shared it, but I guess I didn't, about, you know, don't even think about remaking The Breakfast Club.
No, don't ever think about it, because you can't
recreate that.
Yeah, you cannot capture that spark again. That is a spark that is shining bright all the time from that movie, and you can't do it again. You can't recapture it. You can't. There's no way of doing it.
The most you can do is like do the documentary like Andrew's doing. You know, maybe show some, you know, bring out an anniversary thing where some things that get cut from the movie get added back in. You know, that kind of thing. Just package it a little different. But them sitting there and remaking shit like this because they can is not always the right thing to do. You know, I mean, some movies can be remade and brought up to today's time, but some things can't. And Breakfast Club is one of those things. War Games would be another example of a movie that should never be remade. You know, because that was all that when computers, before the internet was even really a thing. So it was like when computers were like being in people's home was in its infancy. You can't create that anymore because it came out at the right time. I mean, it showed you tricks that you can't even do today. Back then, on a payphone, that little trick. Remember the little trick he used with the metal tab, not the aluminum tab, but you know the one that comes
The pull
completely
tab,
out.
the one you have to pull completely out.
That trick actually works, or it used to work when we had payphones back then.
I'm gonna have to wind up getting Netflix for a month.
But you know that shit. You're right, Mark. You can't recreate those movies. You
can't. You
came
cannot
out at the
recreate.
right time.
You cannot, no matter what you do, recreate that spark, that energy, that drive that movie had at that time. There's no way to do it.
And not to mention the chemistry the actors
do
had.
any kind, right? But if you're going to do any kind of remake of that type of movie, you've got to set it in this era. And then setting it in this era, all you're going to have is a fucking huge drama.
Yeah, it's not right because
you're going to have
the 80s.
Here in this era, you're going to have your prom queen. She's going to have 2 or 3 kids.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Or she's going to be on Prozac, or she's going to be on ADHD or Adderall, something like that. And then you're going to have all the, the nerd's going to be walking around. He ain't going to be walking around with no fucking flare gun in his backpack. He's going to be walking around with an AK-47 strapped to his ass and ready to fucking pull the trigger at any moment.
Yeah,
because he's picked on so much. He's told that he's worthless by all of them.
That's like they some people will argue with me. I don't care. This is my show. So if you don't like what I'm about to say, too bad.
I don't like what you're about to say, so fuck off.
Right.
No, go ahead.
But they remade one of the other greatest movies from our era. Because when you hear that song come on the radio, you cannot lie to me. Your toes are going to be tapping. Okay. And the more the music goes on, the faster your feet are going to get going. And I'm talking about the movie Footloose, the original one with Kevin Bacon and all of that. All right. That was a great, great movie when it came out. All right. But yet here they are. Many years later, they do what you do. They say, oh, we bring it up to date and all of this stuff. But I kind of think it kind of sucked. And I hate to say it, taking that song, Footloose, and giving it to Blake Shelton to sing country was a big fucking mistake. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel about it. I mean, the way that song was done originally and the pace of it and everything was so perfect, and then they had to go destroy it. I mean, they tried to copy the movie, tried to copy everything, tried to copy the storylines by changing them a little bit here and there. Nah, you can't change stuff and try to make, it didn't work.
Well, I didn't watch the new version, but I was told it wasn't supposed to be a remake. I was told it was a continuation.
Nope. It wasn't a continuation, Mark. It was an exact remake. They had the same characters. A goofy looking fucker was still named Ren. They had him in a Volkswagen and all this other crap. But instead of racing the tractors and stuff and getting it, no, we're going to race buses on a racetrack. And, it totally sucked. See, even Janet agrees with me. See, the remake sucked.
Fine, that's fine.
So don't waste your time.
No, I haven't even bothered watching it or trying to.
You know, that's like them sitting there. Oh, we're gonna redo Dirty Dancing, motherfuckers. You know,
that wasn't not a redo, by the way. That was a continuation.
No, they're talking about that now. That's the rumors.
No, you can't redo that one either. That one's.
I mean, and they're remaking Roadhouse, for Christ's sake, and it's like, Jesus Christ, people, have some.
They already did. It's on Hulu.
Yeah, but it's like, Jesus Christ, people, you're disgracing an honor. You know, you can't even do it right and honor the actor that made that movie famous. You know, I mean, Patrick's, yeah, he probably turning in his grave about this one. You know, I mean, you know, you had such great actors in that movie, and I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it because I was a big fan of Roadhouse. But you had Jeff Healey in that movie. He was.
I thought they made it into a series, not a movie.
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up, but still, you know, they've got to get it. It's too bad the younger generation grew up without an imagination. You know, they didn't get forced out of the house to go out and play.
They get told to go play until dark, and then if you're not home by dark, you get your ass beat.
You know, but you know, we had to come in by the time the street lights went out, so that we had dinner, and then we get kicked out, and we just have to be outside for a while in the immediate area until it was bedtime. You know, but you know, you can't. I don't know. You can't. These people think they've got an imagination, but they really don't. I mean, playing video games and all this shit and growing up with the computers in their fucking bedrooms and TVs in their bedrooms and video game systems in their bedroom does not give you an imagination. What gives you an imagination is getting your ass kicked outside, told not to come back in the house. We don't want to see your face until dinner time. And you have to go out there with little or nothing and try to figure out how to have a good time. And that took what? Imagination. You know? That's why I said a lot of those kids would have never survived when we grew up. You know?
Nope.
No knives, no guns, no, you know, your only weapons when you went to school were your fists. You know? I mean, it just, yeah, it sucks that it's happening to Hollywood, and it's because that younger generation is taking over. People like Stan Lee and all those great people that they come from generations before us, even that had them awesome imaginations to come up with characters like Spider-Man and Hawk and all that shit. We'll never see that again. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll never see another decade like it either, Janet.
No, we won't.
We will not. There'll be nothing even close to it because there's no imagination anymore. You know, even music's getting redone. People are collaborating with each other, and then this band's making a remake of this song because they collaborated together to do that song, and so now you got 15 versions of one song out there done by 12 different people, you know. And it's getting ridiculous. It is, because that generation was so much fun, because it wasn't just the music, it was the movies, the TV shows, you know, the stuff on TV that we saw. I mean, even that, some of those TV shows aren't really using their imagination anymore. You know, I mean, How many different versions of NCIS are we going to have? Or CSI? Or, you know, it's like, just take it's like cookie cutter houses and cookie cutter games. Now it's cookie cutter TV shows. We're taking, oh, this worked great. Now we're going to take it and make NCIS New Orleans, and then NCIS Los Angeles, and NCIS Hawaii. You know,
Hi.
I think that madness should stop. Hi, Tom.
You sent me the wrong link. I had to go to the Fear Fans chat to get the right one.
Oh, did I really? I'm sorry.
See what she did? That's all on you, not me.
Well, I thought I copied. I had a lot going on today.
Sorry.
I did, because I was also on
To the grave and
back.
That's the link you gave me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
Well,
all right.
they were done and over with anyways, so.
Yeah, I went in there. It said ended 2 hours. I went, what? I was just watching it. What the hell? No, I wasn't that late.
That's because I sent the one to Fear Fans first, and it's like, oh shit, I forgot. and I must have forgot that I copied the one, because when I gotta copy the one when I get the links for like Fear Fans, like when I get the link for Fear Fans, I have to copy it over into Google because it'll work better on Google Chrome.
Oh.
But I have Facebook set up over there on Internet Explorer.
Internet Explorer. Man, you are living in the 80s.
Or whatever it's called, Edge or whatever it is now. Well, in my time, when we started, it was Internet Explorer. That's what it was. And the motherfucker was so embedded into Windows that you couldn't even remove it.
Just like Chrome kind of is.
I mean, back when there was like Windows 3.1 and 3.11 and all of that, Internet Explorer was the main base to Windows.
And Netscape made its own browser.
Yeah, there was a big lawsuit over that too.
The Netscape Navigator.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I do. I remember that.
You know that the Netscape Navigator is now the Mozilla?
Really?
But it's
Firefox.
not the same. But it's not the same.
Yeah. But I think Mozilla actually has a hand in the Firefox too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it all went together. Yeah, it should have went Netscape to Mozilla to Firefox.
I miss the old Netscape browser. I really do.
I don't use any of them anymore, like any of the new ones. Now I use Opera because that seems to work really well for me. So
I don't know. I've got AVG.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
I use AVG
Everybody's got a browser.
It's based. AVG browser is based on Chrome.
Yeah.
Only it has the AVG protection built in.
That's cool. But you know, if you just don't go to those dodgy porn sites, you'll be all right. You won't need protection.
Yeah.
No, it's not the dodgy porn sites. It's the other sites I go to that are connected with those.
Yeah, but
I got an anime site I go to, and I have no clue why the fuck this thing is all connected up.
Oh wait, I remember what that one site was called that I was talking about that used to have some really corny jokes on.
Consumption Junction?
No, that was your site, you fucking perv. No, it was called AmishDonkey.com. Remember that site?
Amish Donkey. Yeah.
I think I do. But I do remember Consumption Junction too.
See? I'm not the only one, fucktard.
They had some gruesome stories on there, man.
Tom.
Uh-oh.
You can find pretty much everything on Consumption Junction, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, anything from like, I don't know, cartoons to porn to stories about like gruesome deaths with pictures and.
You know, I still haven't.
Videos.
Speaking of cartoons, I still haven't found the fuck stone. Back when, all right, this was back before the internet. Back before the internet, there was bulletin boards, okay, and I was part of a local bulletin board, and I was a system operator.
You want to talk about perv?
There was this cartoon. It was an animated GIF cartoon, Okay, remember those? They were real simple, real fast to download back then when you had baud modems. Okay, and dial-up. And it was called the Fuckstones. And oh my God, it was so cool. And I've yet to find that today. I wish I would have kept it on all the. I kept it on several of my computers, and I suppose if any of the hard drives are salvageable out in the garage, it might be on one of those. But those are like, God knows how many years old those computers are out
I have
there.
some old ones here too. That's somewhere around. We still have our Gateway 2000. I don't know.
But that might have been a site. I never thought about it, and I should have thought about it when you were watching that Consumption Junction site back in the day. And I'd come over there, and he's in the basement, and I get down there, and it's like, what the fuck are you watching? You know? And it'd be some sick shit. And it wasn't always porn. It'd just be some sick shit, you know?
Yeah.
Joe, you never seen me watching porn when you came into my basement.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Because I didn't.
Well, he locked the door when he did that. That's
It was always
exactly right. I barricaded that bitch.
It was always some really sick shit that you just can't. Once
One
you
of
see
the things now this
you
is
couldn't
this,
unsee some of the shit that he was watching.
one of the videos I ran across a video on there.
It was worse than Faces of Death.
It had to be like it was worse than the Faces of Death.
That's what I just said.
It had to be like the Philippines or Indonesia or something. One of those Asian countries, overseas, where they have the really bad congested traffic. And it was a street camera. This guy and his girlfriend were on a scooter. Both of them wearing helmets. But there was a dump truck behind them. Somehow a chick fell off and the dump truck ran her head over.
all right.
And it was all right there on that fucking camera.
And I swear, he usually knew that I was on my way over to his house. So I think he was like watching this sick shit just on purpose.
By the way, don't go to consumptionjunction.com now because it's a straight up porn site. It's
Oh God.
I went there as we were just sitting here. I was curious, and it said you had to be 18 years or older, and you have to agree, and I did, and it was just nothing.
But I do know
nudity everywhere.
Do know that if you type in, remember?
No, I actually liked it because there was funny skits and shit. I actually somewhere in my either in my computer now I'm using or one of my old hard drives, I have a video. It's kind of a role play video. This dude and his woman are talking. And this was during George W. Bush's presidency. And he's like, "Hey, honey, and what do you want me to be tonight?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know." And they're talking, and he's pulling out all these different outfits. And one of them he pulls out. He goes, "I could be the president," and he pulls out the Statue of Liberty. He goes, "You could be the country."
That's crazy.
Basically, it was the president screwing the country.
Since we were talking about Amish donkey, I decided to look it up on YouTube, and you wouldn't be surprised. You'd be surprised what I found. Check this out. Remember this one?
Yeah. Moo. Okay. Oh yeah, and also, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Yeah, that's right. I said fuck you.
Looks a little bit like you.
Hairless monkey, Mr. Opposable Thumbs. What do you think? The cow's place is just stand in the field, eat fucking grass, get rained on, and wait for the pneumatic hammer? We're supposed to just sit around in silent anguish as farmers all over the world play with our wives' tits and milk them dry? That milk is for my baby, you asshole. What would you do if I came over to your bedroom every morning, stuck a vacuum hose on your wife's nipples, and turned the Hoover on? What then? Yeah, well, you'd have my ass cutting steak so fast you couldn't even choke out the words past the A1 before I was sizzling and on your plate. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm the maddest fucking cow you've ever seen, you 10-toed freak. You have fucked with the wrong bovine, my friend. You know that milk you had on your cereal this morning? I pissed in it.
That's right.
Next tries that, bitch.
That's right.
I'm not even gonna tell you what I did with sour cream, but just think about it next time you're having that baked potato with your steak, okay? And another thing.
I'm only 3.5 years old.
Yo. They had to insert that Looney Tune type thing in there.
Yep.
And then there was this one. Whoops.
Oh, StreamYard.
StreamYard user.
Oh, look, I know him. I watch his videos. That's Nick Ninneman.
There you go. This one, you automatically end up start laughing at this one when it happens. But you gotta
Spike
get
Gun 89 Productions.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I used to play with all those
laughing.
all those fart machines I used to have. I used to play with them with my son. He thought it was hysterical.
Oh,
Which, incidentally, if you wanted to see the old Consumption Junction site, you could go to the Wayback Machine and look it up on there.
What way
But
back?
none of
machine?
the. It's just Wayback Machine. Well, you could look it up. It'll come up in a search. It's like wayback-api.archive.org, but
Okay.
you can look it up, and you can look up any site and go back to any year that it was up and check it out. A lot of the images won't load, but it'll show you what it looked like.
Oh, yeah, it goes to the Internet Archive.
Yep.
Yeah, I've already got. That's where I get That's where I get a few of my ROMs
there's another one that's
from my
that
emulators.
was really funny from AmishDonkey.com back in the day.
You know.
Oh my God, there's a guy in George. Oh my God, my mom's like, and you wanna go weed, but you ain't got drugs yet. You hold on to your little gonads and strike. 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 Gonads and strike.
Ew.
Gonads and strike. Gonads and strike. Gonads and strike.
Wow.
Go after the lightning, in the lightning, in the rain.
Wow. What are they worth? Money or something now? The AOL discs?
Apparently, $15 each, and up each.
For what?
Right there. I started collecting AOL discs when they came out. My kids used to laugh at my collection. Told them, laugh now, it's your inheritance. I have over 100 of them, and a lot of them are in collector tin. Well, I looked them up, and a lot of them are selling for $15 and up. Who's laughing
Really?
now?
That's crazy. Shit that we got mailed to us for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was Earthlink, AOL, and CompuServe or something like that.
It wasn't Comp USA. That was a store.
Right.
That's where I got my first cell phone from. It was a flip phone prepaid. I had that for a while. Man. I also remember a lot of things that you would see on the different sites that had just random shit like that the Consumption Junction, you would find these Java interactive animated things like a frog in a blender and stuff like that.
Yep. Hamster in a microwave.
Yeah. Don't touch that. Don't touch that.
There you
button.
go.
I have some of those on my hard drive. They still
That's right.
work too, by the way, most of them.
Kids these days will never know how serious field day was.
No.
You ever have field day when you're in school?
Yep. We called it something else, but yeah, we had it.
Yep.
Elementary school or grade school, depending on whatever you want to call it.
It was grade school, elementary. Elementary, my dear Watson.
That's what I think of every time I hear elementary school. Oh, since I was a kid, I was like, really? It's like, why the hell does he say that? I mean, it has nothing to do with school, what he's talking about. I don't get it. But
I couldn't find any more of those, but that sites like those were really fun to go to back in the day. You know,
there's most browsers won't run Java as much anymore.
I miss Java on browsers.
You can find some sites that emulate it, and it'll play like different things on there. I mean, like what's that one? Happy Wheels is a game, and I think it's like it might be Java based. I'm not sure, but you can't play that on like a regular browser. You got to find a site that runs it through an emulator that they have on the server.
See, and a lot of those games, even before Java was invented, they were text based. They were all text based games, so there was no real graphics or anything involved.
Right.
You know, so a lot of times, you know, like for me, my earliest experience was one of those computers that basically take up a whole room. You know, I was in a state office building, you know, late at night waiting for my stepmother to get off work. So I'd take the last bus at the end of the night. And so it'd be 2 hours before she was off work. So I'd be sitting in one of these rooms on one of these computers, and I'd be playing games like Hunt the Wumpus or Zork or something like that. And they were all text-based.
Oregon Trail.
But then later, you know, when you got the internet and you got more sophistication of Windows, you know, home computers and all this started coming out, the games that were all text-based were easier to put into like JavaScript games to put them on lines and on websites because they were such small files that way.
Yep. And then they got rid of Java.
Yeah. And you know, it was so fun back then because I could find all these old games that I used to play on the computer before the internet and the World Wide Web and all this stuff now. And
I remember playing games on an Apple IIe.
Those computers were fun. I won. What was that one I won from Union that year?
It was one of the older Macs. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember when the Macs first came out. I'm like, what the hell is a mouse? Why is it called a mouse? What is it?
And there was a game that they had on there that there was two games that Brian loaded on every one of those computers that we had there.
Right, and
both games they were called Escape Velocity.
Yeah.
Escape Velocity and Escape Velocity 2.
Yeah,
they were fun. They were a cool game.
They were
very addicting.
And
you start out, you can either have a transport or a cargo ship. And you started out running between planets. And like dropping people off and dropping cargo off and doing stuff like that. And then once you got enough credits, you could get a bigger ship. And then the further you advanced, you could get warships to where you were actually attacking pirates or pirates were attacking you, and you were able to disable them and capture their ships.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an addicting game. You know,
Very addicting.
People would end up playing that game. They'd go into the driver's room, check their, you know, do what they had to do, and then all of a sudden they'd be on their computer playing the games. You know,
Yeah, be done with their.
I played those
done with
games.
your shift. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done with your shift. You go in there, you know, get all your paperwork done, then you sit there and play that fucking game for 4 hours and not realize it.
Or you sit on your break while you're sitting there eating, and you're playing that game, and oh shit, now I gotta get back on the road. You know.
I played the games on the Apple IIe a lot. Like that was what we were learning computers on in computer class when I was in high school, and we would get like if we asked a specific question to the teacher, because he had a bonus question that was written down based on what he was teaching. If you asked the question of the day, you got a game coupon. Any given time you went in there, you could just say, "I'm taking a break from the class and I'm playing the games the whole time." And I used to play I played. Flight Simulator. I played Oregon Trail. I played Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego?
I remember that. Yeah. You know,
a few games on
you're lucky. You are so lucky, because when I was in high school, that was when they were first introducing computer classes. My senior year. Okay, they first started introducing computer classes to the Madison School. Guess what? They wouldn't let me in. Know why?
No.
Because I already knew too much. They said, no, you need more of a challenge than that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the only reason I knew a lot is because I was dabbling around on them with my, you know, I was buying these things from garage sales, these old big huge things, taking them apart, you know.
Then they should have had you teach the class then.
I was already, my first home computer was given to me my freshman year, so I already knew everything there was about basic computer language at the time. And so yeah, and I also learned Turtle, one with Turtle.
And we all found out that there was one command that you could put on there that made it do infinite lines. You just do that and walk away from the computer. Yeah. And the teacher didn't know how to turn it off.
Yeah. And so, you know, I already knew all of that stuff because my dad, we'll just say he was nice and bought me my first computer. It was Texas Instruments 99.4A, and it had to have that RF connector that went where the rabbit ears went on the back of the antenna, so that you could switch it from, you know, and maybe have to be on channel 3, you know. That's how, you know, and the computer didn't have a hard drive. You know, its hard drive was a cassette tape that was hooked up to a special cassette recorder, hooked up to, you know, the computer by special cables.
Yeah. First one we had wasn't even a real computer. It was really actually a word processor, but it was the Trash 80. The TRS 80.
Yeah.
They suck.
So, you know, that was my first introduction to computers. So in order to get it to do anything, you actually had to program it, but it did come with cartridges. You know, you could plug a cartridge in and play the game, obviously.
Right.
Sounds like my VIC-20.
Yeah, it was a lot like the Commodore, but this was like, say, before that, like a Nintendo. You know, VIC-20 had a lot better graphics, a lot more color range capabilities. You know, the Texas Instruments was more like an 18 or 16-bit compared to what the Commodore was. Those Commodore computers, like Commodore 64 and the 128, the VIC-20, they were all well above that Texas Instruments computer.
Wow.
You know,
I had a VIC-20.
Yeah, we had that Trash 80, and then the next one was a Gateway 2000. So show how long between it was.
That was my very first computer, actually, was the VIC-20, and it came with a instruction manual about that big,
Yeah.
and that had all the binary code in there that you had to go through line by line. If
Yeah,
you
you
wanted
guys-
to play games, you had to program your own game in there, or you could do the cartridges.
Right. And see, there was no discs, no floppies for those back then. They came out later with some of those computers. You know, you could, but they were all external too. So you had to buy the external unit. You know, and then they were the big floppies that were like, what are those, like 5 3/4 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 5 3/4.
Or 5
1/4. The hard discs are like 3 1/4 floppy or some shit.
Or 3.5.
Yeah,
3.5 inch floppies were the harder ones, the ones with better protection.
But the other ones were like 5 1/4 or something.
Yeah, and they were literally floppy.
Yeah, they were literally floppy disks. So you had to buy the drives for those, and those were sometimes more expensive than the computers when they came out, you know.
That's crazy. And you think about that, and you guys talk about the computers that take up a whole room, and those are the kind of computers that they used when they went to the moon the first time. And here we carry around something that is way more powerful.
Yeah, and it's in your pocket, and it's got a lot more memory and everything in that tiny little thing. And I mean, they started out when they went from that room. The first home computers were basically built into the keyboards.
Yeah.
You know, the keyboard and the computer were all one unit usually. That's how that's how the Commodores were. Now you've got and then you got the desktop tower units like the one I have sitting here that I'm using right now. You know,
they're becoming obsolete.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen because I love working on these. A lot of room in there.
I know. But see, the thing is with these, one of the main reasons that they're also becoming obsolete is the fact that the new processors.
Oh yeah, and
they are building. Hang on, the new processors they're building in virtual video. So you don't need a video card. Everything half of your video anymore in the new computers runs through the fucking processor.
So there'll be no more upgrading.
No, there's not going to be
processor.
There's not going to be any more video cards.
Yeah,
I got about four video cards sitting over there, and I can put in any computer that I want.
Yeah, and those things. I mean, if you want them to do really nice things, especially during the time COVID happened, because that's when I got this one built. My computer almost got delayed because the shortage caused video game shortage.
Hey, I'll be right back. I got a
video card shortages. So a guy calls me and says, "Oh, it's going to be about 3 to 6 months before I can get your video card in for you to complete your computer." And I'm like sitting here jonesing because I need the computer real bad.
I know how you feel. When this one went down, I didn't know what to do.
So they sit there and he's like, "Well, so I paid more just to get the video card." He got it in too, but a lot quicker. But this video card that's in here, it's still top of the line, but I needed it for something, I needed to be able to do all the video editing and stuff to handle that.
Right.
That one costs like $500.
My son built this one.
Card alone.
My son built this one. It's on its second generation. The first generation, the outer box was smaller. It was black. I don't know. I thought I still had it up here. I don't. But now it's in this big white box that's got a clear panel on the side, and the insides light up like a gamer's computer.
See, here. I can show you.
I'm not going to show you mine because I don't want anybody to see my room.
There's the one I'm on now. That one was custom built by Milwaukee PC. Okay, but it was custom built to my specs.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, wow, you can see my Mountain. That's a Mountain Dew fridge right there. Little mini Mountain Dew fridge.
I have empty beers all over my little desk here
And
from
then-
last night.
Let's see if I can see it. See the black and red over there?
Yeah.
That's a iBuyPower. It's called an iBuyPower gaming computer.
Huh.
Never buy an iBuyPower, and I can't think of what the other one is. It's iBuyPower, and what's the
I
other
could
one?
do mine if I cover it up, and then that way you don't see my messy room. But you can see you can see all this stuff here, but it lights up inside and all
Oh
that.
yeah. Well, that one
Changes
lights up.
color.
That one, the red one, the second one I showed you, has got all kinds of cool lights on it, but it's turned off right now.
Yeah, mine's just always on. Well, not the computer, but
But that's my other computer over there. My wife uses that once in a while. But we've got like 3 or 4 laptops, and there's another desktop out in the living room.
yeah, I have a laptop I don't use. That used to be my main computer until my
We've
son.
We've
left
got
this
more
one here.
computers here than I could shake a stick at.
I bet I could come over and shake a stick at every one of them. I bet I could do it.
All right, now you can stop talking about me. I'm back.
That's right.
But
Yeah, I got-
what's
I got
that
little-
other one? Hey, since you're back, what's that other one? There's iBuyPower, and what's the other one that Best Buy sells?
Cyberpower.
Those 2 computers are shit.
They are. They're junk.
Sound like the E-machines.
I bought
The
this.
E-machines were junk too.
Hey, yes, they were. The iBuyPower, I bought this from Best Buy, and I don't mean to knock Best Buy because I really like their store, considering Camp USA no longer exists.
Yeah.
It pissed me off.
Yeah,
Should
that
have
was a
been
good
Best
store.
Buy that went out of business. Anyway, I bought this from there and thinking, you buy something from Best Buy and usually, under the warranty, they'll fix it, right? No, they tell me we haven't made a deal with the iBuyPower and this yet. You have to send it out to them. And to this day, they'll still tell you this. They can't service their computers. Now, here's the other thing. They won't pay for shipping or reimburse you for shipping the parts they want you to ship to them.
Wow.
Okay. And all they're going to do is
Friggin'
ship
geek
you
squad.
brand new parts to begin with. So I got pissed. So I went out to Milwaukee PC and I bought the hard drive and the power supply that I needed, because that's the 2 things that went and died out within less than a month. It was like 2 or 3 months maybe at the most.
I'll
had
be
to
right back. I
replace
gotta
both
grab a
the
cigarette.
power supply and the hard drive.
I ran out.
But
He's
I
got to go grab a
never
cigarette.
buy those computers, people, from Best Buy. They're shit. They use shitty parts.
No, you want good computers. I'll
Do
tell you
your
right
research.
now.
Do your research.
The best computers on market right now are Dell, Lenovo, and HP. Those are your best 3 computers out there right now.
Yeah.
And out of the 3, Dell is the one that's on the top. Problem is,
Well,
with most of
Dell's been around for a long time for good reason.
the main problem is for most of them though is what I was getting at before I had to go use the bathroom is the computers are starting to get smaller.
Well,
The
yeah,
desktop computers were starting to get smaller.
that tiny little
You
thing
seen the little one that I have, right?
I was just gonna say that tiny little thing that you turned into that game thing
Yeah.
for all those games and
Which I'm
emulators.
gonna have to reset that because
That whole
something
thing's
didn't
one-
take.
It's like a computer, and it's just that it fits
It's
almost
about the size of a
my
Wii.
hand.
It's about the
It's
size
smaller
of a
than a
Wii.
Wii. It looked like it was smaller than a Wii.
It's about the size of a Wii. And the thing is, though, I mean, it's
It runs all those
got
emulators.
good power to it. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you know,
I saw it. I saw
I
it.
can actually load Windows 10 on it and run Windows 10. It uses the M2. It uses the hard drives that look like this, but this is a This is a laptop RAM, but the hard drives, they have the connectors on the end right here, and they can be this length, or they can be a little bit longer like this. But those are the M2 hard drives, and they plug in and then click down, and you can get those up to I think 2 terabyte or even up to.
This is 1 terabyte.
I think there's one in here.
So is this one? It's
Yep.
1 terabyte.
Hey,
That's all my YouTube stuff, man.
I think there's one of those hard drives in here in my desktop.
Could be yours is new enough that you might have the M2. But those mini computers run those M2s.
But see,
Here.
this
I'll show you.
tell you how long this was bought. This here, that's an 8 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive.
This is an M2 reader.
Huh.
You still have that hard drive reader too?
Yep.
The maroon one?
Yes. Oh crap! I got an M2 in here.
So,
Dude, I have like 7 empty bottles of beer on here from last night.
oh geez, from
I was
last
wrecked.
night.
I was
You-
rickety wrecked.
It's too bad that one map
All right.
didn't fucking work though.
I know, it pissed me off.
Here. I didn't realize this was in that reader, but this is what an M2 drive looks like.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've seen them.
Okay. You got the end there. That's your connector. And they slide in. They just slide in, clip down, and then you secure them with a screw at the back.
Just slide it right on in. No lube, no nothing.
But it's just amazing. It's amazing though what how fast. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. We had to carry around change in our pocket in case we got lost or needed a ride home, so that
Yep.
we could use a payphone.
But now we won't even get lost because we have a phone.
And we had to memorize the phone numbers
Yep.
or carry them around in our wallet.
Yep.
Okay, that's the other thing. Now, then when cell phones first came out, or car phones, because they came first, you know, you had all this shit that you had to put in the trunk of your car, and it was wired
the
up.
bricks.
It was still attached to a cord.
The bricks.
Okay, they were bricks. Yeah, the first cell
Talking
phone.
about the bricks.
The first cell phone was like a brick, so you had to carry that fucker around in a bag, like a purse. You know, now that you carry them around in your pocket, and you don't even know this person's got one.
And everybody that used those bricks is going to end
And
up
they
with
got a
brain
fucking
cancer.
camera on it. They got a camera on them nowadays.
Well, how do you think I make my videos?
No, they don't. You know, back then you didn't have cameras on them.
Yep.
You know.
I make my videos in 4K and
So-
off of my phone.
So if you didn't see, if you saw Bigfoot back then, you couldn't prove it. You know.
Well, that's why you don't hear much about him anymore. He knows about the cell phone, so
Right.
he knows at any given point everybody's got a camera.
But you
That's why
know,
he's so elusive now.
I mean, and even before cell phones and stuff, you know, if your parents wanted to get a hold of you, or so, your friends, say your friends wanted to get a hold of you, you carried around a pager. I mean, tell me you didn't have one.
Yeah, and you had
I
different
didn't have
special
a pager.
codes.
You lying dog. You had a pager when you were growing
No,
up.
Nope. I
You
didn't have
never
a
had a
pager.
pager?
I didn't have a
I had
pager until I got a job.
I had two.
I
I
had
got them from Kmart. Kmart had a deal on them. You could buy them for $10, and they were $10 a month or $5 a month. And I got two of them.
Yep.
I got one for the parents and family, and the other one for all my girlfriends. And I got them
two
so that they were two
pagers.
different colors, so that I could tell them apart.
I never had a pager until I got a job, and then my job provided me with a pager.
No.
You know what's weird? There's a new button that I never noticed before on this end of StreamYard. When you're a guest, it says stream this to your audience.
Yeah, well, I enabled that feature a long time ago. We were just
I never
talking
saw
about that.
before.
You know, we were just talked about that on that podcast I was on earlier.
Oh, that's weird.
Lois brought that up because, or their guest Michael
Lois?
brought it up because he was asking why he couldn't do it, and Lois like, I don't know what's going on, and I explained it that there's a feature in StreamYard, you got to turn it on. The person that hosts the stream has to turn that on
I never
in
knew it
order
was an
for that
option.
to happen. Right.
Never knew it was an option. That's good to know for future reference.
So I turned that on a long time ago when I found out about it.
So what?
And
When you click on
it's
it,
been on ever since then on my streams.
when you click on it, it gives you an option to where you want to stream it to or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And then people can comment, and the comments will come up for you guys.
Yeah, it'll come up with like a little link.
Huh.
It'll have like a little chain link next to the face, right above the Facebook logo. See, like where Janet's is, there's a Facebook logo down there in the comment.
Yeah.
There'll be like a little chain link just above that, and you'll know it'll be coming from your stream.
Interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that today because I did that on damn it, To the Grave and Back. So I Darren, and when you and Darren were watching, it came up with that little link next to the name. And Kate, so Kate, Darren, and you were watching through my putting it through that way, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was.
That's very cool.
I noticed that
Learned
today.
something new about
First
something
time I was able to do it on that end. So
I thought I knew all there was to know about this thing.
No, the thing about StreamYard and what I liked about it when they did this, because I remember when it first came out and we discovered it, is right away they were adding to it constantly. You know, like there was updates like once a month and stuff for a while there, but they still are adding new things. And when you end the stream, you know, and if you put in, you know, how the stream went, put your comments, what they could do, they take all of that stuff into consideration when they're making the updates.
Huh.
So it's constantly evolving.
Cool.
And, you know, because they added that green room if you got the business account. You know, but Mark and I, while we just put it up there so that it never records, and we make that our green room for conversations, you know.
Yeah, me and Dom have one. We call it "See You Next Tuesday."
Oh, well, I just put it up as green room, but you know, still it works. You know, like Saturday, like this Saturday, I got a conference thing where I'm trying to make a connection happen between Dal Kazmarek from Illinois and Darren up here in Oshkosh.
Yeah.
And because Darren runs the museum, and he's kind of really knowledgeable about Ed Gein. So yeah, so when we do this trip on the 17th, we're trying to put something together.
Previous network I used to be a part of quite some time ago. There's some people on there who are pretty knowledgeable about, like, well, all killers in general, serial killers mostly, but they did talk a lot about Ed Gein.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to make this connection work so that this day on the 17th will be really interesting for this guy that's coming over from the UK.
Cool.
So and Darren, he's a really nice guy, man. We had a great talk on Friday. Sorry you missed that, Mark. You can blame that on your internet and Spectrum right there.
That was Spectrum's fucking fault.
Right. So, but like I said, this guy was very interesting. I mean, he's from BB3 TV. He's a very interesting guy. He knows a lot about this subject, and he kind of runs a museum up there. And we had like 2 conversations now on the phone. So
I'll tell you though, whoever it is at BB3 TV, that's what it's called, right? BB3 TV. Yeah, whoever it is that makes all the artwork and the imagery, man, they really know what the hell they're doing. I mean, I gotta say,
yeah.
I mean, they must be a really great, awesome, super-tastic person. I just gotta say.
You really like to know how to promote yourself, right, Tom?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm humble though, you know.
Mm-hmm. But that intro though, it is really cool though.
Oh, the Dom singing in there.
It does take you back to the MTV, the original MTV days when they were like the colors.
I just wish that it didn't get
like that, and
I wish it didn't get Bitgraph when it starts shaking, but there's nothing I can do about that. It's made, and he likes it. He said no, because then it's even more like retro-ish, you know. And I said, yeah, I know, but I'm a perfectionist. I'm never happy with anything that I do. It's not good enough.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's not good enough. I keep trying to improve. There's something you can do to make it better. Oh wait, yeah.
Always.
You know,
always.
You know, I do the same thing. You know, and I'm always learning as I go because I'm not a very creative person when it comes to that stuff. But I try.
Takes me 2 hours to edit a 20-minute video, you know, because it's like no, let me undo that and let me leave that part in and just take this part out.
Yep. No. Yep. And when I was doing all that editing for our investigations back in the day, boy, I was bugging him, and it's like, you can come over here and help me, damn it. And I was a pain in the ass because it is a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah. Problem is, only one person can work on the computer at a time.
Yeah.
But most of the time when he wanted me to help him, I was at work or had to work.
But see, when you're doing it from my point of view or from Tom's point of view, you are your own worst critic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you need those feedback and the opinions of others.
It's like, not only do I watch the files because every time I make a video, it's separate video files. It's not one long video thing. And I'll watch them as separate files, and then I'll open up my video editor, and then I'm watching it as I'm putting it together. Then once it's all done and it's imported, then I got to watch it from beginning to end before I upload it to YouTube. It's a long process.
And then not to mention the music there or whatever, and the audio that you want to add, and any of the graphics that you got to edit or make from scratch.
Yeah, which in my videos, there's not much of that. It's just the video footage mostly, but
you know.
And I already have my outro made. I made that back in 2020, and it had a typo in it for like the first 3 months. It said, you know, it was asking people to subscribe instead of subscribe. My sister pointed it out to me. I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about the first few videos. I can't change it now. But so yeah, there's a little lure for you if you want to go, if you ever get bored and you go to my channel, like watch the first few videos that have the outro and you'll see the typo. I never mentioned that before now, actually. But that's okay.
Sorry. I'm trying to dig out a cord. I don't know what happened to it. That ain't it. Damn it. I got too many cords over here.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I have a lot of shit everywhere in here.
There it is. Well, I wanted to. There we go. I wanted to plug in the external hard drive for a minute because I had a thought, and I can give you the graphic if you want it, but I got to find it first.
Okay.
But well, I just thought it might be a cooler background than the one you got with the plain brick wall.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Always options, man.
I got to figure out how to get to that hard drive now.
Should have recognized it automatically and brought it
up. It did.
Oh, there you go. I heard the doo 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 doo.
Yeah. I just got to remember.
I can't believe I'm drinking a beer, to be honest. Mark, you had to see me. I was in rare form.
Yeah, it's 6:45. You're an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, but I wasn't planning on drinking any at all today. I had more than enough last night. I mean, there's 6 empty bottles here, and then the 7th one is an unopened beer that's now been refrigerated and warm, so it's no good. Which that's a crime against nature there.
Alcohol abuse.
Well, it started off as date night with the girlfriend, and my sister was there too. And we were at a bar / restaurant, and I had a few there, and then I came home and I had a few more, and then before I knew it, I was asking everybody if they wanted to play golf, and that was the end of that. All these empties are from after I started the game, because I remember taking down empties.
You were taking down empties.
Yeah, and getting more beer.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, the empties weren't doing me any good.
Let's see.
Oh, that's right. That one dude joined us last night too. I just now remembered that.
Yeah. Here. Remember I was telling you about this one? I was telling you about I animated this, but it's not animated here, but that's the one that almost got me in trouble.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. Because I animated him actually pissing and filling up the 24. Piss.
I don't see what's wrong with that.
And it was on my website. So
I don't see what's wrong with that. You didn't make the graphic, you just animated it. Doesn't even look like Calvin anymore at that point.
no, it was actually it was a screen-in version. Oh my God, I found even an older picture. Kate asked for pictures last night of me, right when I was younger.
I seem to kind of recall that.
And that was after we were done with the Golf Fit thing, and I showed her one, and I told her it was, and I got to thinking later at night, you know, it kind of hit me. It really wasn't from before the leukemia, but this one definitely was. I'm still trying to find that wall graphic. All my websites are like stored on this hard drive, so I got to find which one it was.
Apparently, I still have Steam on because throughout the day I keep seeing Kate's name pop up saying she's playing golf.
Yeah, that happens over here for me when Joe does his stuff.
Just here, I'll show you what it looks like so you can get an idea. Whoops. That background, the background there.
Yeah.
Take off the graffiti wall where it says the graffiti wall, and I've got that whole background blank.
Oh, cool.
Like that.
That'd be cool.
On this hard drive somewhere, because it was all part of an actual. I turned a guest book into a graffiti wall on one of my websites, so you could post things like, "Here I sit all brokenhearted, tried to shit but only farted," you know.
Yep.
Little things like that, you know. And I actually saved it so that I was actually able to save it before the website. I closed it down. So I was actually saved it with all the graffiti, everything everybody posted over the years on that wall.
For a good time, call Jenny, 867-5309.
Oh, there was the coolest thing. The coolest thing was a race car driver's ballad. You know.
Okay.
And it was a really cool poem about I think it was Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt. And it was a really cool poem that somebody put up there. And well, most of it because it got started because it was a Fans Against Jeff Gordon website, but I also had a fan site based on, you know, because I was a big fan of Rusty Wallace, so you had a a fan site made for Rusty Wallace since it was NASCAR related. So, but that graffiti wall it lasted for quite a long time.
That's cool. It's got a legacy.
Mm-hmm. So all my old websites are actually on that external 8 terabyte hard drives. Got probably stuff from about all my old computers, or most of my old computers, the ones that I pulled all the hard drives from and was able to use on that thing, Mark. And you put it in there and we can transfer shit.
It'll read these drives too.
Kate, that is a good question, because back in the 80s and the 90s, there was so much good food too. I mean, even restaurants, some of the restaurants that don't exist today.
Yeah. There was a lot.
You know, I mean, when I went to the roller rinks, the small personal pan pizzas that they would put in the pizza ovens. Oh man, those things, I remember they tasted so good.
Yeah.
They were like better than the school lunch pizza that you got it for the school lunch, you know.
I took my Friday and Saturday nights very seriously at the skating rink.
Yeah.
I was dancing or not dancing, but slow skating on couples only with a different girl every time.
Yes. Yeah, I get the picture. But then and then there was the food courts in the malls back then were a lot different.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because it wasn't a food court. They were scattered throughout the mall.
And we had individual.
We had one called, and it wasn't so much a meal, but it was called Hot Sam Pretzels. They had the best pretzels ever.
Well, now.
And I mean, since then we've got things like Annie M's. What's that? Or Annie Ann's.
Annie Ann's. They suck. They use too much butter on their pretzels. A pretzel should not be buttery like that.
And there's like one other one. I can't think what the other one was that came in after Hot Sam's, but anything that came in after
Bavarian
that
pretzel
wasn't even close.
Now we here in Philadelphia have. We have, I think, the best, or used to have the best soft pretzels. Now everybody can get them because there's a brand of stores with Philadelphia in its name with, the soft pretzels and stuff. And they're actually really good. But, back in the day, there was dudes selling these things on the streets, like in between lanes and just like holding up bags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then when we got older, we started realizing these guys were peeing.
Those store-bought things are useless, though. Those store-bought things are nothing like going to a pretzel place and watching them actually make the dough or take the dough and form it into that pretzel and watch them get cooked and take it out and dip it in salt and stuff and give it a nacho cheese and shit, and you get that fucker hot.
Yeah.
Man, there's nothing like that pretzel. And you smell that sucker halfway down the mall.
Yep.
It's like popcorn when you're at a movie theater. The reason they make so much is to draw you in and make you want popcorn.
I miss popcorn so much. I can't have it.
Hi, Joe.
Why can't you have it?
Diverticulosis.
No.
Yeah. They took my popcorn away. I used to sit there. I'd get those big bags of the Smart Food, the white cheddar popcorn. I'd eat that in one sitting, just sitting here in front of my computer, and now I can't have it. And then every once in a while for lunch, one of my coworkers comes in with a bag of popcorn to make. I'm like, you suck. You're not only going to make it when I'm here and I can smell it, but you're going to eat it in front of me.
My wife buys these big bags of popcorn and bring them home all the time, and she's sitting there eating them. Eats the whole bag in one sitting.
Yeah. And then you got those old tins that had like the separators in them that had the 3 different kind. You had your regular popcorn, you had your caramel popcorn, and
that was the big holiday tin.
Yeah,
that would come out during the holidays. Yeah,
I'd love them too, man. And that's another thing I miss is caramel popcorn. or caramel popcorn, however you want to pronounce it. Like, you know, like what the hell, Cracker Jack. Like I love.
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff.
Cracker Jack.
That was great.
That was
Not
a
only
big
had
thing
they
when
had
we were
peanuts, which
kids.
is another thing I can't eat now.
That was a big thing when we were kids, though. Getting that prize at the bottom of that Cracker Jack box.
Yep, either the magnifying glass or a tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm moving to Iceland.
Huh?
I'm moving to Iceland.
Why? Why are you saying that?
So I'll go over to where is it? To go find me an Icelandic woman to marry.
Well, there you go.
You ever see what these women look like?
No, but you're gonna be. I'm sure you're gonna be a pervert and show us.
No. No, I'm scrolling Facebook.
Nope, not on the site I'm on. Nope, I can't.
No, I'm scrolling Facebook. There's a thing here that says, due to lack of men, Iceland pays $50,000 a month to immigrants who marry
You're gonna
Icelandic
believe
women.
that scam?
I know it's not true.
I'll sell you a piece of swampland in Florida for.
No, I know it's not true, but I'm just saying, you know.
There's
You
a
ever
prince
seen
who
what
wants
those
to
women look
talk
like?
to you, and he's going to send you money orders, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, you cash them, and all you gotta do is send 10% back. Yeah, they're gonna be fake money orders to begin with.
There's this Arabic prince that wants to give me money.
Yeah.
I keep telling him that one of these days, Mark and I or a couple other people should get together and just make a few episodes on cyber scams and how to avoid them. Because there are so many scams. There are so many scams, everything from Facebook messages to email to things that you see on Facebook that are just too good to be true. You know,
I keep getting a bill from Geek Squad, you know, through one of those scams.
I keep getting things saying my payments been declined to things like Netflix or Amazon or something like that, you know, because, you know, and it's like they're sending this shit to the wrong email addresses that are attached to those accounts in the first place. But even if they were, if you look at the email address they're coming from, they're not even official.
No, and they have you carbon copied with a bunch of other people.
So if you look at them close enough, they're not even coming from Netflix, or they're not even coming from Amazon.com.
It's a Gmail account.
They're coming from some god-awful account, who knows where it's coming from, because it's probably piggybacked or hidden and bounced all over the world to make you think it's coming from somewhere it's not.
Coming from Hotmail. Yeah.
But see, those are the people that are fishing for your information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
That is what it is.
You know, Mark and I have done those. Well, we've done one video, like something kind of similar, that, you know, to get people to realize and understand that, you know, this, you got to take notice on these things. And that was like what not to feed your dog and stuff, because and the things about the husky breeds, that people shouldn't have them as a first-time dog owner.
So you guys did a video together, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And Joe sold it in his video store.
You're just as much of a smart ass as he is. Or, yeah, whatever.
Me? No, I'm not a smart ass.
Yeah. Well, I put up with it enough from him. Fucking. He's been trying to get me back for years for all kinds of shit. He's probably still trying to get me back for the union cab thing.
I've already gotten you back for everything.
I still think somehow I need to figure out how to get that video, because I've got it on one of these 4 discs down here, but I can't find the proper software. I should send them your way. All right. And maybe you can figure it out, because we need to have Tom back on here one of these days so that I can show this one particular video. And Mark and I were the masterminds behind this video. Okay. We pulled the ultimate practical joke in my family that nobody, and I mean nobody, has topped this joke yet to date. All right.
Okay.
And we made the bride and groom almost sit there, fall out of their chairs, pissing in their pants by the time it was all over with. Now, I don't know if I've told this story to you, but I'll tell it again because it's kind of funny.
You may have, and I just don't remember.
We're going over a little bit though too. But anyway, Mark and I, it was the day of my brother's wedding. Okay. We decided we had this planned out a little bit, and we had a couple of people to help us. All right. Mark, I think you were the one that went to a hardware store or someplace and got all the extra keys.
I went to the key shop.
So he went to a key shop, got all the...
And it didn't cost me either when I talked to the guy.
He got all the rejects.
I talked to the guy and, at the key shop, and he's like, yeah, I can do that for me. Yeah.
So he gave us a whole bunch of keys. So Mark...
Oh, yeah, I had a ton of keys. About 300 fucking keys.
I know there was a ton of them because, and you know, Mark, anyway. So we gave the keys out to the people there was only like a couple other people that were helping us hand out all the keys. We were handing them out to all the women, aunts, grandmas, everybody.
Friends.
But all the women had a key, one key. What's this for? What's this for? You'll know when the time comes. Okay. That's how we did it. All right. Well, Woody, and I think I've shown you the picture of Woody, but he's that Kid Rock looking fucker with all these tattoos. Right. He was there and he was part of this. He decided to keep a couple handfuls worth of those keys, and he kept them in his pocket. All right. So the time comes, and because at this time I had severe stage fright, so I couldn't do this part. So Mark did this part. See, I came up with the idea, and I told Mark, and Mark helped me mastermind it. So Mark did the hard part by getting in front of everybody during the wedding reception. And what'd you say, Mark? Do you remember? You don't remember.
Not completely. I know that I was like, all right. I did a speech, basically.
He thanked everybody for coming there, congratulated the bride and groom and stuff like this. And then he gets down to the last part and he says, all right, before we get started here, we need all you people out there that have keys to Dwayne's apartment to turn them in.
I didn't say people, I said all the women.
Oh, all right. All the women that have keys to Dwayne's apartment, we need you to turn them in so we can get the security deposit back. Okay. So now you got to realize at a traditional wedding, you got the wedding party sitting at this great big long table and the bride and groom's dead center. So all these women, aunts, grandmas, cousins, friends, all these females start coming up, dropping the keys in front of my brother, and they're saying things like, oh, I'm sorry, it has to end. Or, oh, the secret got let out, blah, blah, blah. They were saying all kinds of things, And meanwhile, the two of them are laughing so hard and they're turning red. I swore at one point Kara was a bride. I swear she was about ready to piss her pants and fall out of her chair. Now, it gets to almost to the end where all the women, and we're, making sure we go make another announcement to make sure all the keys are turned in case somebody wasn't in the room at the time the announcement was made. At that time, Woody decides to get up, comes over, walks behind Dwayne, and instead of going to the front of the table, he walks up behind my brother and he drops all the keys in front of my brother out of his pockets. And then he plants a big old kiss right on Dwayne's lips. And at that time, I think Kara did almost fall out of her chair.
You know, it would have been me to have said something like, as your brother, like, what, no tongue this time? Like, something
But
like that.
he did say, and Woody did say something, and I can't even remember what Woody said, but it's all on that video. There's a video of it. There is a video of that.
That's funny. Oh, man.
And I will find a way to air it because I always wanted, and I never got around to it, sending that to America's Funniest Home Videos because that thing was still on TV at the time.
They still run that show?
Yeah,
I
in reruns.
see it
If they do.
occasionally.
Yeah, it'll probably be in reruns. I mean, you can't send things in anymore, I don't think. But anyway, we got to end the show. It's been past our 2 hours.
Yeah, by almost 7
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh, have fun, stay safe, and tune in tomorrow. Don't know what the topic will be. Have no guest, so
All right.
it'll be paranormal talk.